So good and tasty.
How's it going, everybody? So this week, Trump's cabinet picks are going through their confirmation hearings. And while today we did have Senator Rubio and Bondi, I believe, going through, I want to talk about yesterday's performance because that was a lot juicier than today's. Even though I think they did very well, Pete Hegseth, holy moly, he definitely set the bar high and put a lot of these Democrats in their place with their stupid questions and the stupid looks on their faces when he would talk about things that matter. Despicable. Let's check out this intro and how he nailed this.
First and foremost, we will defend our homeland, our borders, and our skies. Second, we will work with our partners and allies. Under Donald Trump, will achieve peace through strength. And in pursuing these America First national security goals, will remain patriotically apolitical and stridently constitutional. Unlike the current administration, politics should play no part in military matters. Warriors. Our standards will be high and they will be equal, not equitable. That's a very different word. Now, it is true and has been acknowledged that I don't have a similar biography to defense secretaries of the last 30 years. But as President Trump also told me, we've repeatedly placed people atop the Pentagon with supposedly the right credentials, whether they are retired generals, academics, or defense contractor executives. And where has it gotten us? Oh! He believes, and I humbly agree, that it's time to give someone with dust on his boots the helm. A change agent. Someone with no vested interest in certain companies or specific programs or approved narratives. My only special interest is the warfighter. Deterring wars, and if called upon, like many of my generation, I've been there. I've led troops in combat. I've been on patrol for days. I've pulled a trigger downrange, heard bullets whiz by, flex-cuffed insurgents, called in close air support, led medevacs, dodged IEDs, pulled out dead bodies, and knelt before a battlefield cross. This is not academic for me. This is my life.
He made a lot of good points in here, especially I think my favorite was when he says, we put people in here before. How has that turned out? They supposedly had all the credentials. They're smart. They know what they're doing. Yeah, not necessarily the best job. So I do agree. I think Pete is going to be a good option because he worked from the bottom and rising to somewhat to the top. I don't think he's a general or anything like that, but he knows what it's like to be the grunts who are going in there, fighting, putting their lives on line. How many of these people sitting in this room have done anything close to what Pete has done when it comes to serving our country? Majority of them probably never. Nothing. They don't know about that. But they're going to sit up here and they're going to talk about him like, oh, are you sure you know how to run the Pentagon? It's not that hard, apparently. I mean, for God's sakes, they can't even pass an audit for the last, was it 4 or 7 years? Something ridiculous. But with Pete, he seems fairly confident. So I believe, even though he may not have the credentials that these clowns up here think he needs to have, I think he's smart and intelligent enough to run it confidently, diligently, and with a America First mindset. I like that he's going to set the standards high. We want the best of the best serving and helping us win where we need to win, especially when danger arises because you are in the military. Now, what I want to do is show you all the ass whoopings that he dished out to some of these Democrats. But before we get started, we got to talk about today's sponsor, me, your favorite churro on YouTube. In the future, I hope to have some cool merch for you guys and of course do some awesome giveaways. So be sure to like and subscribe to help the channel grow so we can get to those goals and I can start giving back to y'all. Now on to the video.
The former Fox News host came out fighting against relentless questioning by Democratic senators in a measured performance that humiliated his opposition.
In other words, you're quite sure that every general who serves should not go directly into the defense industry for 10 years. You're not willing to make that same pledge?
I'm not a general, Senator.
These idiots think they're so smart.
You'll be the one, let us just be clear, in charge of the generals.
Hegseth then slammed the inflated bureaucracy of the Biden administration in the area of defense.
Bloating. What are you going to do about that?
Senator, we're going to address that. We won World War II with 7 four-star generals. Today, we have 44 four-star generals. There's an inverse relationship between the size of staffs and victory on the battlefield. We don't need more bureaucracy at the top.
Hegseth then owned Senator Mazie Hironie after she peddled unproven anonymous allegations.
No.
Multiple false anonymous reports peddled by NBC
Do you
News
know that
run directly
drinking on the job
contradictory to
is
the dozens of men and women at Fox News
contemplated?
Channel who I work with
I'm not
who came
hearing
on
the
the
answer to my
record
question.
and said they
In your
never
opening
seen
statement,
that.
Mr. Hegseth,
This commentator blasted the senator for her confused line of questioning. She said Mazie Hironie might be the least intelligent member of Congress, and that's saying something.
Is that because she's Asian and supposed to be smart?
Senator Kristen Gillibrand then had a total meltdown about the role of women and trans people serving in the military.
In the DOD, everything you've said in these public statements is politics. I don't want women, I don't want moms. What's wrong with a mom, by the way? Once you have babies, you therefore are no longer able to be lethal. I mean, you're basically saying women after they have children can't ever serve in the military in a combat role. It's a silly thing to say. It's a silly thing to say, beneath the position that you are aspiring to. To denigrate LGBTQ service members is a mistake. If you are a sharpshooter, you're as lethal regardless of what your gender identity is, regardless of who you love. So please know this to be a true statement.
I don't know what kind of woman would give birth and then want to go back and be in a combat zone. That just doesn't seem right to me for a number of reasons. Number one, you just gave birth, so I'm assuming you may have a 4-month-old by the time you go back to work. Are you still breastfeeding? Do you still have to pump? Those are problems that you cannot have out in the combat zone. And just from a physical standpoint, men are stronger, they have more stamina. What if some guy comes out that's big and you have to do hand-to-hand combat? You think this woman is going to be able to beat one of these big adversaries? I don't know, maybe. Now, I'm not saying that they can't serve at all. I'm saying we need to have some really, really high standards for these women who are going to have to go up against other men that have the intention to kill them. So they need to fight men on our side who aren't going to hold back. They're going to beat their ass and hold them to the fire, because this is what's going to happen out there. And if not, even worse if they get captured. So that's just another thing you have to think about. We need to focus, and it's easier to focus when you have just men who are ready to go out here and do this job. We don't have time for the women drama that happens, because this is life or death out there. They need to be focused on the task at hand.
Look, he's going to bring the warrior culture back. And he sat there and knowing that there were a lot of things that they were going to come at him with. And he was cool, calm, steady, and prepared. Mm-hmm. And he was willing to admit what a lot of Democrats who want to take the moral high ground cannot admit. And that is, I've made mistakes.
So yeah, Pete Spass isn't perfect. He's not a perfect dude. He did make some pretty big mistakes back there. But if he's owned up and he's trying to be a better man, trying to be better for himself, his wife, country, I think he deserves a shot if he's proven that he is putting in that effort. Not everyone is perfect. Everyone has mistakes that they've made that they regret.
Even CNN couldn't help but admit Pete Hegseth crushed the hearing.
Well, in short, I think Pete Hegseth kicked their asses today. I mean, it wasn't even close. They didn't lay a glove on Hegseth. No mistakes, calm, cool, collected. I mean, before the thing even started, you had this like Code Pink, protester freak show trying to disrupt the hearing. That's the Democratic base, by the way.
And readiness crisis in our ranks.
Members of the security force will remove members.
Which probably explains why the Democrats on the committee acted in such a bizarre and unprofessional way. I was appalled at some of the way these senators handle themselves.
Yeah, they're a bunch of salty little Anyways, I mean, I think he did a great job despite, the hardships that he had to overcome. Some of the stupid questions and lining and just irritating aspects of this. I didn't watch all of it. I ain't got 4 hours, but for the most part, I think he did really good. I don't think he's not going to get appointed. I think he will. It's just a matter of time, and I think actually all of them will. I don't see any reason specifically why none of them should. If you enjoy the content, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button for your favorite churro on YouTube. See you guys on the next one.